95.5 WFMS. Going to feel like summer today.
Yeah.
Almost up to 90 degrees. Pools, in most cases, are open, but...
Yeah, there's once again this year a nationwide shortage for lifeguards.
Yeah.
Causing some schools or some pools not to open or at least have reduced hours.
Okay.
Because they don't have the lifeguards.
You used to be a lifeguard.
I did. I was a lifeguard for a number of years at the
Yeah.
Randsburg YMCA there on the east side.
Now, was there a shortage then? Or?
No, because they hired me.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. Did just the regular lifeguard outside pool, but also inside where the laps were done, which wasn't as much fun.
Did you ever have to do anything that was scary or life-threatening, or did you ever have an incident like that?
No.
Okay.
No. The last thing you ever want to do is go in the pool and rescue somebody. You throw something, you reach for them or whatever. But no, the biggest thing I had were kids peeing in the pool or throwing up in the pool. That was the biggest
the peeing in the pool, and then, of course, it shuts down, and everybody gets upset. Right now, in our HOA, in my neighborhood, the adults are upset because they took away Adult Swim. And that's when they would do, like, a couple of times a day, they would do a 15-minute break where kids have to get out of the pool, and it was Adult Swim only. And now it's everybody has to get out. There is no Adult Swim.
And
they're all up in
because
arms
the
about it.
lifeguards need a break. There's not enough lifeguards to.
That could be.
After so many minutes, you have to go
the
off
lifeguard
duty
has
for a
to go
little bit.
inside for a second. Yeah.
I used to do that at the Riviera Club when I was
You were a lifeguard
years ago.
too?
No, I was a lifeguard. But they'd say, get out. And I'm going, oh, man. And then the adults get in there floating around just being boring and loving it, you know. But would you recommend that job?
For it was a great job.
Well, think about it. You work on your tan.
Yeah. Well,
I was given advice by my future brother-in-law to do that when I was in college. He said, hey, you're going to have to take a gym class, take a water safety class, and then you can become a lifeguard.
Sure.
Get your college credit that you need. Instead of taking archery or bowling, take something that gets you a summer job, which I did. So.
Wow.
Which is also, we should all know, CPR. So
yeah. Now, I'm not still certified. I couldn't go. I mean, that was way too long
you can't walk out today and put on your red shorts and your whistle? And...
For multiple reasons. Multiple reasons why I couldn't do that.
Red shorts and his whistle.
Yeah. Hey.
And zinc on his nose.
I was like one of those Baywatch guys.
Oh, yeah.
Running really slow
to
the concession stand.
Would you do a video for that?
That's a visual I would never be able to get past.
Well, I'll work on that.
Yeah,
I might do something
that.
like that.
Oh,
We'll see.
95.5 WFMS, Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Kevin's got your national news now. Move over, Lady A. There could be a new trio in town.
Yeah, I'll get to that in about 30 seconds. We're getting closer to a new album from Dan and Shay.
Oh, yeah?
Shay Mooney said that it's filled with songs about this moment in our lives, things about love, loss, and fun, which is actually the perfect formula for a country album, I think.
Love, loss, and fun.
Yeah, so stay tuned on that. Meanwhile, Miranda Lambert has been recording new music. No word yet on when we might hear that new album, but supposedly it's soon as well.
All right.
Morgan Wallen will be returning from vocal rest by the end of June, so he still has a few more weeks to go. And this is interesting. Morgan, Hardy, and Ernest have had serious talks about forming a country group.
Oh, really? Huh.
Really?
You heard it here first.
Just a little side deal there,
Yeah.
maybe?
Others have done that. Miranda did it with Pistol Annie's.
Yes. Dirks does it?
Yeah, Dirks does it. That's right. So it's not like he's in uncharted territory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So stay tuned on that. That's your National News now, 641.
Let's get her done, boys and girls. It's time for Kevin's bad joke worth repeating.
And this one's from Rhonda. Rhonda, we met out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway last Friday.
Oh, yes, very nice.
She handed me a note, said, here's a good bad joke worth repeating.
I
So this
remember
is
that.
courtesy of Rhonda.
Okay.
A wife asks her husband, honey, do you think our kids are spoiled? The husband replies, no, I think they all smell that way. Thank you, Rhonda.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
95.5 WFMS. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Jim, Deb, and Kevin on this Wednesday morning.
Did you see this in the news the other day, Jim? And I thought of you. I think it was the Wall Street Journal report gave a report of they did a blind test to prove that people don't or can't tell the difference between expensive bottles of wine and not. They took a bottle of wine, an expensive bottle of wine, and they poured in that bottle of wine cheap wine.
Okay.
And they told everybody this is an expensive bottle of wine when in reality it was the cheap wine.
Sure.
They took a cheap bottle of wine and poured expensive wine in that one and told everybody it was a cheap bottle. So vast majority, I mean like 90% of the people that did the wine tasting all agreed that, yeah, they preferred the expensive bottle of wine, even though it was
not
the
the
cheap
expensive.
stuff.
cheap bottle of wine.
Oh, yeah.
The exercise was to prove that we're sold into the the marketing of the whole thing. We see an expensive bottle. It has $45 on it. It's got to taste better than the $5, $10 bottle of wine over here. When in reality, they switched them, and people picked the cheap bottle.
Marketing.
And I know you've done this for years, Jim. You've talked about your bottle of wine. Your boxed wine.
Sure, Franzia wine.
Is your favorite?
Yeah, it's to me it's great. I like it. And that's what they say. I'll tell you a little example. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
I was at a party and I didn't want to take the box over to this party just down the street. So
you're a little bit embarrassed by that.
Well, that's it. Just hey, here's my box of wine. But so I had an empty bottle of it was Chilean Cabernet. And
my!
So I thought, and I just took it, put it in, put the cork back in, took it down. So I'd have a carrying case for it. But I set it down. They had all these other ones. This lady came by and she was pouring some ice. This is really good. I'm like, no, don't drink that. No. And she's like, this is so good. What is that? It's a Chilean Cabernet. It's so good. She went back for seconds. I thought, I can go back and get another bottle in the house.
Yeah, but now she's going to want to know where you got it.
Right.
It's like the placebo effect.
Oh,
that's
when
exactly
you take
what
a
it
pill
is.
and you think it's really helping you, and you start to just assume automatically that you're feeling better, but it's really not.
And because
get this?
It supposedly costs $45, it's got to be better than the $10 one I get at $10 Chuck or whatever it's called. Yeah,
It's $2 Chuck.
Hey,
I'm a firm believer that there are name brands that you can buy the generic, and it's just as good.
Well, this report
except for
proved,
toilet paper.
In a blind test, most people could not tell expensive bottle of wine versus the cheap wine.
Interesting.
Well, we should do a test some morning in here. I'll see if you can fool me.
You want to do it in the morning?
No, Jim, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's do it in the afternoon. We'll get together, give that a try.
I wonder if we could try this. In all seriousness, try this with Deb and Starbucks. If we were to pour radio station coffee in a Starbucks cup and mix it up the way she likes it with whatever the sweeteners, the foam or whatever you put in there.
I could tell the difference. I could
You
tell the
could,
difference.
huh?
Yes, I could.
It might be worth a try.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Oh, no.
We'll see if that
So
really
I can't
works.
do the froppy and the drizzly do and whatever that stuff she puts in there.
First of all, I never go there and order a froppy and a drizzly do.
Well, we'll work on ordering it the way you are. But yeah, I just wonder if because it's in that cup, you're going to go, oh, it's the Starbucks.
I will say, I said this to somebody the other day when I tried to cut it out. I almost think I'm not addicted to the coffee. I think I'm addicted to the cup in my hand.
Oh.
As weird as that sounds.
Well, that's our point.
I know.
Right.
So it might be.
But I would be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Work on that, Jimmy.
Bring it on.
See, Kevin's simpler. When he goes in and orders a drink, I'll just have a diet. Could be Diet Coke, Pepsi, anything.
Whatever.
He's fine with
and a black
it,
cup of coffee. Well, not together. Although that might not be all bad. I don't know.
Morning Wednesday, right in the middle of the week here. Just so you know, this is most of you had Monday off. Jim, Deb, Kevin at 95.5 WFMS.
Jim has said this for years, and it was proven a fact again recently in a blind test. Most people could not tell the difference between an expensive bottle of wine and a cheap bottle of wine.
Exactly. It's up to your preference, but you can switch, and still sometimes the cheapest works. Well, Brett Young talked about it, the cheaper wines.
I worked in a wine bar for a lot of years, and so I learned some stuff about wine, and I do like wine. There are some box wines now that have really upped their game. I'm going to tell you, there's a brand now. Franzia, I'm not going to agree with you. That's going to be pink wine that sits in the fridge in a box. And that's okay. No, but there actually is a brand called Black Box.
Yes, I've had that on really good occasions, like New Year's and Christmas.
There you go. That's a holiday wine. But I would say, in all honesty, if you're going to go buy like a $15, $20 bottle of wine at the store, get Black Box instead because it's $20 and it's 2 bottles of wine.
There you go, right there. See, Brett Young knows that stuff. And Black Box is the higher end for me.
That's what I'm showing off. It's the higher end cheap wine.
That's what I'm showing off. Well, the Black Box here we go.
That's showing off? Okay.
We should listen to Jim more often, Deb. He was right.
I don't know about that.
Very wise. Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Deb's got your daily dirt, and there's something in the water in Hollywood.
Yeah, something, because we have a couple of people who I was surprised to hear are having babies. We'll share here in about 30 seconds. First, Alexander Gould was the voice of Nemo in Finding Nemo. But if you ask him to do the voice, you'll be disappointed. He says, quote, I have to explain that I was, 9 years old. And my voice has changed a little bit since then. So people are always a little, that doesn't sound like you. He's like, well, I was 9.
Nemo.
So we forget that.
Yeah.
Now, Pee Wee Herman is suing a guy who's selling memorabilia from the old TV show Pee Wee's Playhouse. Remember that?
Sure.
Now, Pee Wee is claiming that he only loaned it to the guy, and now he wants it back. But the guy says, nope, Pee Wee gave it to me, said he didn't want it anymore. So if he wants to profit of it, he can profit off of it.
You think it's worth some money? I guess.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe about as much as Jim's bobblehead on eBay.
Yeah, those are on fire.
$9.95?
Yeah.
Wow.
You never know. Could buy you like a small lunch or something. 79-year-old Robert De Niro just welcomed a new baby at 79. And now we find out that 83-year-old Al Pacino is expecting a baby in about a month. Yeah, the mom is a 29-year-old who once dated Mick Jagger. But so Robert De Niro just had a baby at 79, and in about a month, 83-year-old Al Pacino is going to be expecting.
Are you the great-grandfather? No, I'm the dad.
Oh, goodness. They're not going to be around to see much of the childhood.
Well, maybe they'll have long, healthy lives.
Well, I don't know about that. 827, that is Deb's Daily Dirt. It is sponsored by Mark Dietel Realty.
95.5 WFMS. Jim, Deb, and Kevin, thank you so much for making this a part of your Wednesday morning. What's the change?
Well, the change is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which everybody loves, is getting a brand new name. It's been 87 years since that thing's been around. They've
87?
87. It said it debuted in 1936. They've never changed the name until now. And so now it's going to be called the Oscar Mayer, where'd it go? Frankmobile. Frankmobile. And so people who used to drive the Wienermobile were formerly known as hot doggers. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to be called Frankfurters. And it's all in support of their promoting their marketing, their 100% all beef hot dog. But don't change the name. Well, don't change your marketing.
Yeah,
like
that. You did a story not too long ago that you can rent that vehicle out for like wedding receptions.
Oh yeah,
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
Now, I think the new one was in our Indy 500 parade. I attended the parade over the weekend, and the
Frankmobile was.
Yeah, well, they've got brand new vehicles, so it's not just the one. They've got brand new vehicles. They're going to be, debuted, and I think one of them has already been in the Indy 500 parade. They've got a new hot dog shaped car, and it has new decals that go across the side of it that say it urges people who are passing by, please do not lick. And people around me were like, well, you have to tell people not to lick.
Yeah,
well, it's their marketing gimmick.
Okay.
So anyways.
I you know what? I don't think it's a good idea. That's just me.
Right.
Stick with what made you famous.
Stick with what's working.
Yeah.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Dance with the one that brung you.
So 87 years, they've got to change, and it's now it just sounds weird, too. It doesn't sound right to call it the
Maybe it's just temporary.
Maybe so, just to kind of promote the...
But even then, I wouldn't do that.
Right, and then they'll go back to it.
Then I remember the new Coke.
Yeah, I was just doing the same thing.
Just, learn from previous lessons.
Right. So. It's always going to be the Wienermobile to me. It's always
okay, I'll let them know
that.
We'll
call it what we want, okay?
They can spend all the money they want on marketing. You're not going to change the name.
Jim going to call it the Wienermobile.
Yeah, that's why you still call it Deer Creek, too, don't you?
Deer Creek,
and Market Square Arena.
And the Coliseum.
And that's not even there anymore.
I don't care. Where they play basketball, it's Market Square Arena.
That's right. So.
No, that's a building now.